Hey, good morning, and welcome to Morning Tea with me, Tracy V. Allen. This morning, our segment is sponsored. Up my guest. Hi, how are you?
What's up?
Okay, so our guest today is a dynamic young man who is multi passionate and multi talented. And he is going to tell us how he balances all of his different talents to become the successful entrepreneur that he is today. So, today I have with me Charles Pojo Goodings. Better known just to everybody as Pojo, right? Uh,
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
So before we even start with the introduction, so when I put up the announcement yesterday that you were going to be on the show, I got a lot of inbox messages asking me, Pojo, why does he have that name? So you told me in the you told me in the bio that you sent me why
Yeah.
how you got the name. But I chose not to put it on my description because I wanted you to actually tell the story because it's a really heartwarming story. So for those of you who don't know, Pollo in Spanish means chicken, right? So why don't you tell us how you got that name?
Okay, I got a nickname from a neighborhood friend. He was obviously Hispanic, and every time he saw me, I was eating chicken coincidentally at the time. So, and that's my favorite food, I guess you could say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, but more importantly, why I kept the nickname because when I first started out music, I was really horrible.
Mhm.
I won't say I won't say horrible, but yeah, I could use some improvement. And he was one of those people that was pushing me, motivating me to continue. He said, don't study them and Pojo, Keep doing one day you're gonna be the greatest and they're gonna respect you and all that. So came months passed and it came time for my first village performance.
Mhm.
He was shot twice and died on the night, so he never got to see me perform.
Oh no.
And I got I kept the nickname because in memory of him, he was always one that was believing in me, pushing me forward. He said, "You never stop doing what you're doing. Keep doing it, even though probably it was horrible into other people's eyes, but to him is like he could have see something deeper than what everybody else was seeing."
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm glad I kept it because I wouldn't be here talking to you today if I did everybody else.
Right. That is so sweet. So you
So,
really kept the name Pojo because you wanted to honor him and the what should I say, the trust or the belief that he had in
yeah,
you.
the belief. Also,
Yeah,
is in the Caribbean, it's hard to get rid of a nickname. I hated
it's
it at
true.
first. I'm not gonna lie. Once you get a nickname, that's it. It's gonna stick with you. It's more part. It was really bad. It was really no more known for my nickname than my government name. So
Right. Yeah, because when I put it up, some people that knew you, they were like, his name is Charles? I was like, yes, his name is Charles.
yeah, I think it was bad when my professors and
Mhm.
my principals in high school called me Pojo. They didn't even know my real name.
Really? Wow.
So it
Okay,
was
so
really
you might
bad.
as well change your name legally to Pollo Goodings.
No, I would not do that. I don't
I
want
know,
to.
I know. So you talked about music, and that's kind of how you got your name, right? So
Yes.
tell us about your music career. How did you get started? What made you want to play the bass? Because for those of you who don't know, well, most of you probably won't know, Pojo is the one of the bass players for the band Stylee Band, which is one of the biggest bands in the Caribbean currently, right?
Yes, correct.
So tell us about how you became the Pojo of Stylee Band.
Um, well, we'll start with the music. How did I start with music?
Yeah.
Okay, I was in junior high. I attended John H. Woodson Junior High School.
Oh, you went to John H? I taught at
And
John H. Woodson.
nice. So I honestly, I didn't. I took the class because I thought it was an easy class. I said, let me just get an elective, something. I tried cooking. I was like, nah, this ain't for me. And it was like, I got discouraged because the cooking class wasn't what I thought it would be. And I said, let me try the music. And I said, man, this is just gonna be an easy class. I'm just gonna do this and get through and graduate, get out of junior high. And
Right.
then after the first week, I just started. I got like I started out on trombone at the concert,
Wow.
so I learned how to read music
Mhm.
and everything. I didn't start to play bass guitar until high school, really.
Okay.
Um, the bass guitar was self-taught. I didn't go to school for that. I
Mhm.
learned how to read music. I got pointers here and there from different musicians. They taught me the notes and certain skills, but most of the creativity was definitely YouTube and self-taught.
Mhm.
It just started out as a hobby and it became a passion.
Okay.
It became a part of my life.
Right, exactly. So you started off, you decided, okay, let me pick up the guitar. I want to play the bass. How did that translate into you getting into a band?
I always Stylee Band. I got into Stylee Band. I always was a friend of the band, and
Okay.
I was always around. I was never the original bassman.
Oh,
And yeah, it's Nick McKenzie. He was the bassman right at that moment, and then he decided to move away because he graduated. I think probably a year or two before the rest of us
hmm,
in the band, and we had to had call up at somebody, and it was like at that time I just picked it up because I like how it sound. Believe it or not, it was because of Junie, the bassman of Jamban. He used to play Jamban back in the day. When
yeah,
I got to hear him play, I liked it, and I just picked it up, and I would practice to the lies. I didn't know what I was playing. I didn't know no notes. I didn't, and then eventually, I learned backwards. Normally, you learn how to read the note,
right.
and you
But
you
isn't that the test of a true musician being able to play by ear?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
That's something can be taught in school.
Right.
That's something over a period of time you get better and it becomes easier. You know what you're listening to, so you have like a ear. Okay, I have an idea. This is what they're playing, and then you go on a fly. Many times that has saved my life.
Really.
Yeah, because sometimes um as a musician it's hard sometimes.
Mhm.
Not all the time you would get gigs with the band that you're in,
Okay.
and you get called for the night. I'll be like, oh, I got called for which I didn't expect in my whole life. Vio, I played with
Oh,
Vio,
wow.
and spontaneously, Daddy Jones, Alwyn
Mhm.
Baptiste, he had called me many times now. He's like, hey, I need you to play tonight. I'm like, what? Tonight? It's 7 o'clock. And then sometimes he just send me a whole live, and
Uh-huh.
while I'm driving to the event, I'm listening to it. So I didn't get to practice at all.
Wow.
They were really impressed. So from there, that was one of my proud moments of my musical experience. It's a very good look.
That's awesome. So it's almost like you were destined to become a musician, even though you said when you started off with the trombone and you were like, so being able, because I know I have a lot of musicians in my family. My aunt, my grandmother was an organist for the church.
Okay.
So yeah, so I grew up with her teaching piano in the afternoons after she was the assistant bank manager for a bank, and in the afternoon she would teach piano. So I grew up with a lot of music in the house. So I know being able to listen and just play the notes is a
Yeah.
skill. It's the test of a true musician. So okay, so you went through music school, then you went to school, you became a musician, then you went to college. Why not music? You went into mass communications.
That's funny. I was disappointed,
Uh-huh.
but apparently it worked out in my favor again. I'm blessed.
Okay.
When I started UVI, I wanted to do music. I did wanted to do music, but they
Okay.
didn't have the classes when I was going. They didn't have professors or anybody else to teach what I wanted to learn. I would have to, first of all, I would have to move to St.
Hmm.
Thomas,
Okay.
and then they didn't have an instructor to teach me how to play bass because I wanted to go college for bass guitar.
Hmm.
And at that moment, I was like, okay, well, I know that I can't do this. I would have to teach myself.
Hmm.
And I started taking my general ed courses because I was frustrated. I wanted to quit, and I was sitting down going through the books
Hmm.
and like the different courses that you would have to take for the degree.
Hmm.
And I bumped into mass media communications, and this is something that I do on a regular because I was doing these stuff for fun, not knowing that this was a part of the degree.
Right.
So I did like a webcam show, a little talk show. It
Uh-huh.
would always it would always have like a nice little following whenever I do something, whether it be a game night or just a topic. I remember one time it was in college, my first year, and I shut down the game room for
Hmm.
like an hour or two, and I had everybody surrounding me like it was like a talk show,
Hmm.
and we talked about the different relationship talks, and everybody was sitting down in the game room. They had it quiet. It was like it was
Uh-huh.
crazy. I had some good times. I
Okay.
didn't even know that I was creating something bigger than myself. It's just something I wanted to do. That's all.
Right. Okay. So then you decided to go into mass communications. You got your bachelor's degree, and then what
Yeah.
happened?
Um, I was DJing on the UVI radio station
Okay.
in St. Croix.
Hmm.
That started out. I didn't work. I was already things were really good with the band, so I didn't have a job. So I was just DJing,
Hmm.
playing with the band, and then I started my clothing line.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
it started from that. All of that transpired from me DJing and playing music because it just started from there. I just used it as a promotional tactic for my
Hmm.
DJing, and then it blew up.
Oh
So
wow. So after you left college, I saw that you went on to become a teacher, an English teacher. And that's what
yeah,
I was. I was an English teacher for over 15 years. So how did you become an English teacher in the high school? What made
this
you
is
decide to do that? 'Cause that's not a career path to take lightly.
I tell you this. After being on both sides of the fence as a student and a teacher, you guys don't get paid.
We did not. We did not. Honestly, teachers do not
This
get
is
paid
a
for
lot
their
of
work.
work. This is a lot of
Yeah.
work. So it's funny. Times were kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was after the hurricane.
Hmm.
No, actually, it was before the hurricane. Months before the hurricane, and I was sitting down with my best friend Kylo, who
Hmm.
passed away, and we was thinking because we were thinking of like ways to just secure ourselves, building the future.
Right.
And he's like, okay, Pojo, let's work in the schools. Let's just be a monitor, You know, that's Monday through Friday. All we gotta do is tell them children go class, and we could plan the weekends and make money. You know, that way we could get we could get money taxed, and we be secure. We have a secure job because
Right.
we knew that things were going. It wasn't as steady as it was before with the band. And
Hmm.
we applied. We both applied. We were getting things together, and then a couple of months later, he ended up dying in a plane crash.
Oh no.
And then I got the phone call like the day probably after his funeral or something, and they were like, "Would you like to teach?
Hmm.
We need teachers. Would you like to teach?" And I was like, I didn't want to stay home,
Right.
crying and be miserable.
Hmm.
I said, why not? I'll give it a try. It was basically a try for me. I didn't, I always gave something a try. At
Hmm.
least I tried it before I turned it down. So I
Okay.
taught for a year, um, and a year and a half,
Hmm.
and and then I decided to let that go and run my business full time.
Okay. What made you decide to leave education?
I
Aside from wanting to run your business, what was your deciding factor?
it wasn't the children, to be honest with you. Everybody thought it was because of the children. I love the kids. I notice I call them children because they slowly turn to my children. No, I
Right.
don't have any children, Tracy, no. But they kept me in tune. They kept me young. I like the interaction. I like the fact that I could explain something and I get to teach it to somebody, and they fully grasp the concept, and it was a good vibe. But I didn't like the leadership in Department of Education,
That's
to be honest.
usually what it is. Most people don't like administration, the higher ups. It's not
The,
the kids.
the leadership, it's a lot. It needs a lot of work, and to be honest, because I didn't want to be a teacher. I never
Mhm.
thought about being a teacher. Let's just say I was looked at as the rebellious one a lot. So I decided to just take my own path. But I stayed and finished the year for the kids because they already got left hanging many times, whether it be the father walking out on them, the mother walking out, somebody
Mhm.
dying, or friends walking out on them. They didn't have any trust. So a lot of the times I was the reason why, so I had a lot to live for and to stay there for. So that was the main reason why I stayed there so long.
Okay.
After the year finished, I was like, you guys,
It's
you have
time to go.
this time to get your own now. I did
Right.
my part. That's how I look at it.
Uh, okay, if you're just joining us, I'm interviewing Charles Pojo Jr. I'm sorry, Charles Pojo Goodings Jr., right? He is the bass player of Stylee Band and the owner of Apollo Legion clothing line and store in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, actually in Frederiksted. So if you're just joining us, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're on YouTube looking at this. All right, so we're gonna go into your clothing line because I find that to be interesting. You went from music, you went to education, and now we're in the clothing business, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about how you go about choosing what you're going to produce. How are you going about getting your line out to people? Are you just serving the Virgin Islands? Are you serving nationally and internationally?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm serving nationally and internationally.
Okay.
I actually
And
have a
you go
website.
to Apollo Legion, right? It's right here,
Yeah, right there,
apollolegion.com to see what he
origin.com.
has to offer.
Um, I started in the Virgin. I started in St. Croix, most importantly. I actually have a store now in Sonia's, in Castle Coakley area next to Thomas Bakery.
Okay.
And Professional Cuts. That's where the store is now. I have that store for a year now.
Uh-huh.
Um, I I normally I kind of go with the trends in a sense, but
Uh-huh.
sometimes I already envision what I'm gonna do for the year. I
Okay.
think that far ahead. I
Uh-huh.
believe in preparing and being two steps ahead.
Uh-huh.
I don't really go too much of what my peers are doing around me as far as other entrepreneurs in the clothing business.
Mhm.
I tend to do my own thing. It's just something that I want to do. I
Mhm.
feel like this would be a good look, and I give it a try. That's how
Mhm.
I do it. If anything, what I can tell you is that, excuse me, I normally start out with the color black.
Okay.
That's about it.
Uh-huh.
Normally, I start out with the color black.
Mhm.
Unless I'm really feeling it, I might start with a outrageous color like yellow or red or something like that to
Mhm.
attract the people. But for the most part, it's where I take the suggestions from the consumers
Okay.
and my peers and the trends, what's going locally and abroad. And the business started out in St. Croix, and because of the website, I have to thank the website for being created,
Mhm.
and it has helped me spread my demographic a lot more. Like this year, well, last year too, I sold as far as China and Alaska and Lebanon. I think it's an Arabian country, so
Yeah.
it's growing. Germany, New York, California, and it goes on and on. So
What
it's
type,
it's growing. It's growing.
right? What type of apparel do you sell mostly?
I started out with T-shirts,
Mhm.
and now it's expanded into a large variety. So it's hats, book bags, socks,
Oh
phone
wow.
cases, basketball pants,
Mhm.
track suits, jerseys. I have a sport. I just dropped a sports collection last year, so
Mhm.
we have football, hockey, basketball, baseball, and soccer jerseys. I have athletic line where for the females they have sports bra and leggings, and then for the males we have a jogger suit, track
Mhm.
suit. It's the swimsuits, bodysuits, hats, phone cases, book
Oh, you got
bags,
everything.
a little bit of everything. Yes, clothing is a Polynesian clothing brand and accessories. So
Wow. Awesome.
it's a
That's a
lot
wide
to do.
variety. So you can come to your store and be completely decked out in a
The
full
only thing I
complete
haven't
outfit
done
and
yet
leave.
is probably like what I don't choose
Mhm.
boxers or vests or something of
Okay.
under of that. Not yet, not yet.
Not
But I'm
yet.
working on it, working on it.
Not
Taking my
yet.
time. It's only been what 3 years. This year, October is gonna make 4 years that I have the business.
That's pretty good for 4 years to have grown that much from hats to this full line. That is pretty impressive, and being able to sell internationally. So you're doing something right, right?
I know, right? A lot of trial and error. Let me just put
Yeah,
it that way.
exactly. But that's what business is about. It's about trial and error. It's about, trying something, making sure it works. If it doesn't work, tweak it and go back to the drawing board and try something else again. So,
Definitely, definitely.
yeah. So my question to you is, since you were self-taught on the base, would you ever consider teaching others, like formally teaching others through yourself, not through the school system, like creating like a program where you're teaching other people how to become musicians or bass players?
I would definitely do that.
Mhm.
I'm thinking about doing that. I believe in passing on knowledge. That's the best thing that you could do. And I would teach them the correct way, how they're supposed to learn. Don't learn like me. I
Right.
learned backwards. I learned
Yeah.
how to write without the training wheels first, and then I,
And
you
then you
know,
put on the training wheels.
yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a serious challenge, and not everybody is built mentally to deal with that kind of frustration.
Mhm.
And but I don't mind teaching what I know. I never had a problem with that.
Okay.
I believe everybody has their own style, their own creativity, that kind of hype. So I don't have a problem teaching you the basics, and you
Mhm.
have to. One thing I can't teach you is creativity. You have to learn that on your own. You have
Yeah.
to have that. You have to find that kind of vibe, that passion
Mhm.
within yourself.
Yeah.
That's
It's an intrinsic feeling. It has to come from inside you.
it has to
Yeah.
feel. It has to come from within. That's something
Mhm.
that can't be taught in school. Some people, they, when they're born, they just have it. It's
Hmm.
just that's something that God gave you. That's something that you have to feel. You can learn that.
Right,
You
right.
can learn that. I don't.
So, one of the things that a lot of people tell young kids, because I've heard it a lot while I was in education, I hear it now still with parents, is that you can't do more than one thing. You got to focus on one thing and one thing only. So that's why I named this topic today, your program, your segment, the trio:
Okay, okay.
music, education, and business, because you have gone the gamut. You're still a musician. You went into education, and in a way, you're still a teacher because you're giving back to kids in the community who need to know something, or be mentored in some type of way. And you have the clothing line. So, what would you say to people who try to limit people, put them into a box? You got to stay in this box. You are not going to be good at doing multiple things. So that's why I said you are multi-passionate and multi-talented. What would you say to people about that?
Um, I said, have a strong mind. The road. Only the strong will survive. That saying goes there.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to try, but more importantly, don't be afraid to fail, because I failed many times before, and it's just something that I wanted to do. You have to know, if you want to do music, business, education, just know you have to take the good with the bad. So you have to do the amount of work all the time. You have to. There will be times that you want to sleep, can't sleep. No, you have to do this. If you want this, um, I always see this it was in a Kevin Hart documentary. I
Mhm.
liked it. He would keep saying to himself, "Everybody want to be famous, but nobody want to do the work," which is true.
Yep.
And it's so crazy. My mom says it all the time. She
Mhm.
said, "No, nobody would ever thief hard work from you. They would you could leave it there, and you will come back, and you're gonna meet hard work. It's nobody will do that for you. So
Uh-huh.
it's just something you have to be willing to put in the work and sacrifices. A lot of nights that I stayed up. A lot of times, the members in the band can tell you that I played the night before in a jam,
Mhm.
first thing in the morning on the plane. While I'm on the plane, sometimes I'm doing the schoolwork, and then
Mhm.
straight from the plane, I go straight to class
Mhm.
because I can't miss the class because this is
Right.
what I want to do. And while I lay home sleeping,
Mhm.
so I'm sacrificing sleep and other stuff to get where I want to be, and that's just you just have to want it. You can't anything that you do in life, you just have to want it. If you want it, you go work for it. I believe in putting in the hard work and the research. I mean, there's times that it would be easy, and things will get easier
Mhm.
as time go by because you work smart, not hard.
Yep. I'm a
So,
proponent for that. Work smart, not
oh
hard.
yeah, I wish I learned that phrase a long time ago. That
Yep.
saying a long time ago. But
Yeah.
you have to put in the work. I don't care if you want to do 16 things at once.
Mhm.
Never limit yourself because you never know. Give it a try. I never thought that all my life. I never wanted to be a teacher. I never thought I was a class clown. I was a class clown. I was smart. I was always doing my schoolwork, but I would be the one to talk a lot in class.
Okay.
Every report card. Charles is an amazing student, but he talks too much in class. And
Class. Okay.
so I love a joke too. I don't believe in dull moments. I like a good joke. So that
Mhm.
would get me in trouble sometimes, but it would also bring the classroom to life.
Right. That's true.
So
But I
don't
really liked what you said when you said, don't be afraid to fail. Because I think that is what keeps a lot of people stuck in the place that they're in, because they're afraid that they're going to try something, or they're going to invest their money in something and it's not going to work out. So I think the reason why a lot of people are not where they want to be in life is because they're afraid of failure.
yeah, and then we live in a society today where embarrassment is really high.
Mhm.
um they think too much of what their peers think
Mhm.
and what society thinks, so it plays a big big role in an influential part of their life.
Hmm.
And sometimes you can't think for it. You can't, as they would say, you can't live your life for other people. You
Right.
understand? Um, I say just try it. My biggest thing, I live off the quote from Thomas Edison. One time I found that out, I just love it.
Hmm.
He said, "I have not failed. I have found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's all.
Oh, that's powerful. Yeah, I like that. So were
So,
your parents supportive of your different ventures?
um, my mother, my grandmother pretty much raised me.
Mhm.
I grew up with my sisters, and my mom was not all the way there for me in the beginning with the music because I wasn't, so big. I
Right.
get, I it was horrible, but
She
my
didn't want you to be
mother,
a starving artist.
yeah, she didn't. She was worried about me for a while.
Uh-huh.
She was like, I don't know. She, but like my mother was one of those parents that she's not going to like, oh, that's amazing, that sounds good. My mom, no, that don't sound good. I don't really like that. I don't.
Uh-huh.
She'll be blunt. She'll tell me straight up. So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
wow, and it's amazing now to hear her brag about my son. She'll be like, you know my son, and everybody. So it's good. She
Uh-huh.
didn't like when I told her that I was gonna resign from education, you know,
How dare you resign from a government job?
I know that in the Caribbean it's crazy because we we as Caribbean people we grew up in this lifestyle where you go to school, get a job, and you work until
For the government.
you work, you get children, and then you take care of yourself and you leave something for them. That's how it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, my no, I good. I want to do this. I want to do this. And at first she was hesitant, and then like my generation now is with the millennials, they entrepreneurs. That's what
Mhm.
it is. But to be honest with you, I wasn't really thinking of those people when I did it. I was like, I could do that. I really have that much faith in myself, and I was like, I started to defend myself, and I was like, nah, I gonna do this. And then
Right.
after a while, I stopped telling people what I was gonna do, including my mom. And then when it happened, I just tell her, and then
Okay.
I just knew at the end of the day that if I didn't make it, just know that you have to deal with them talking. I tell you, don't do it. Keep the job. No, so that motivates me a little bit more. I use everything to fuel my passion for it to keep going every day,
Mhm.
and also, I gotta remind myself. I'll be like, you asked for this.
Right.
Don't try. You have to take what comes. This is what you asked for.
Exactly. I was just telling someone that yesterday. I was like, I'm so exhausted. I am exhausted.
So this is something
You
that
know, I said if I could sleep for a week, I would, but I have to be grateful because this is what I asked for. Right. And
exactly.
once you get what you asked for, then you can't now want to condemn what you asked for because then God is not going to give you anything else. So you need to be grateful and you need to push through and you need to continue working at whatever it is that you're getting. So when opportunities are knocking on your door, you better answer that door. So
Oh,
yeah. So all right, so we're gonna wrap up. What's the last three things? If you have top three things that you want to leave the audience with, the young people that are watching, other millennials that are watching, we have people in my age group that are watching, people who just are afraid to step out or have stepped out, they failed, and they're afraid to continue to fail. What would you
uh,
tell them?
what would I tell them?
Hmm.
Never be afraid to fail. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to give up. That's how I live
I
life.
like
It's okay to fail, but not okay to give up. Never give up. If you want it that bad, then you do it.
that. Hmm.
Just know everything that comes with it. It might take you longer than everybody. Stop worrying about, okay, Tracy did this in a year. Okay, it might work. Tracy might did this in 6 months, six
Hmm.
months a year, but Tracy only lasted 2 months. You might do it, and but it just wishing you all the best, by the way. Just saying.
Of course.
And you keep doing. You have your journey. You have do your research and everything that you do, and make sure that you can present yourself and explain yourself all the time. You have to do your research, hard work, and then you present.
Exactly. All right. I love that. I love that. All
Mhm.
right. Thank you, Pojo, for being a guest this morning on Morning
No
Tea. I
problem.
really
Thank you.
appreciate it. You dropped some good nuggets for everyone that was watching. I know I had some people who said they were going to watch because of the title, and they're in the same predicament where they have multiple passions and they just don't know how to get them to mesh together. And everybody's talking in their ear, you got to do this one thing. You got to do this one thing.
Take
They're
your
like, oh,
time.
but I want to do more than one thing,
Take
So
your time.
yeah, so thank you so much for telling people how you were able to balance your multiple talents and your multiple passions in life. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, everybody, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Morning Tea, and stay tuned for our sponsored post.
All right.